our 12-month review of our RedGum Log Splitter. We bought this to help with processing all the wood on our block, which it has done so admirably. Been really happy with it in general. To kick it off with, it's done a lot of work. I've just given it its second oil change here this morning, which is easy to do. It's got, of course, a great Honda motor on it, very easy to start and operate, plenty of power. So I thought I'd do a quick talk about all the things we like and dislike, following on from our original review, or I guess video, around its operation. First of all, why did I choose a RedGum splitter? There are many cheaper options available in the Australian market at the moment. I like quality over price, so I will often pay a little bit more to get a better quality product, and my research before purchasing led me to believe that this is a better quality product, and the features that helped me decide that were it has a hydraulic oil filter and quite a large tank. I know some cheaper models do have a similar setup, but that was certainly one attribute that I thought was really good. I like the fact that it has a filtration for the hydraulic oil, and this really large reservoir that forms part of the back of the machine. Of course, the heart of the unit is the engine. Cheaper options tend not to include a Honda motor. This is the GX200, tried, true, tested, virtually indestructible. Plenty of power and fuel efficient, super easy to start. Like most Honda 4-stroke motors, it's yeah, turn on the choke, turn on the petrol, and it starts. I'll give you a look at that in a moment. It's got a very sturdy setup at the front, super easy to maneuver and adjust. That's a swing hitch as well, so that can swing out of the road, that jockey wheel, which is another nice feature. Like I said, we tow this and move it around the block with our tractor. It's but when it's on the garage floor, super easy to maneuver in the shed to get out of the road. That we really like was the I guess the, well, like and dislike, a bit of a love-hate with this handle arrangement. I certainly understand there's limited options, I guess, around where that could be, but it does mean that you need, and it's probably a good safety feature, but it does mean you need someone operating the handle. It's almost a two-man job. You need someone operating the handle and someone dealing with the wood that you're processing at the time. But like I said, in a way, it can be painful. You can certainly do it with one person. It's just a lot more efficient if you've got two. And having someone activating that handle, I guess, gives you that they can always be watching where the head of the ram is and understand if there's any danger there. It is a very sturdy unit. It isn't rated by tonnage, instead they rate by PSI. I haven't done the maths and I don't really care, but here to tell you now, it rarely struggles with any size wood or stump that we've thrown at it. Feature that I like, and again, quite a few of them do have it, but the ability to change the configuration of the unit from horizontal to vertical, so it can pivot on the hinge a little bit lower, and you remove the safety lever here, and the whole unit will swing upright. And we've used that for some really large rounds that we've split. It saves your back, most definitely. Right, probably the biggest surprise or how useful things are is this work table. Now I'm not sure if that's standard on all RedGum's models. I don't think it is, but on my model it was, and it's an absolute ripper and very, very strong. Makes your splitting efficiency easier if you've got 2 or 3 people working at splitting. We tend to have one person picking up the rounds and clearing split log, another person doing the handling of the wood, positioning of the wood about to be split, and then a third person assisting and operating the lever. So but the work table is a great addition. We've put some very heavy rounds on there. Of course you can't be stupid and just drop them on there, you need to place them. But once you've got that full of rounds, and you can be processing your split wood quite efficiently. Right, so pros and cons, I guess. Back maybe into the cons. I don't know if it is a con, but we did have a little mishap one day due to being a little bit inattentive. You can see the support arms here. This one is actually bent in a little. It should be straight like this one. And the way that occurred was we had a piece of split wood that somehow got itself caught up on the ram as the ram was retracting. And yeah, it's, you know, the ram's got as much power as forward as it does backwards. So surprisingly that bent very, very easily and very quickly by the time we realized what was going on. And it was just unfortunate. We've never had that occur again. Normally with the design of the head and everything, they tend to fall to the side and clear, but in this case somehow it did catch, and the person on the lever didn't see it occurring, and yeah, it came back and bent. So that was quite hard. That's as straight as I've been able to make it. It was bent in more than that. I actually had to use a splitting wedge and the head itself to help push that back out. It's still not right, but it's now functional. So as always, you just, I think when you get complacent with machinery like this is when bad things happen. So yeah, just a little lesson for us. Even though you sometimes you tend to think that this head doesn't move fast enough for you. I think the cycle rate is 15 seconds, but yeah, a lot can happen in 15 seconds when you've got that much power and force behind it. So the next con, or I guess thing that I find a little frustrating, is this head gets a bit of slop in it, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know it needs to move a little bit, but trying to loosen and retighten these bolts that hold that on the rail is particularly hard, given that these are like screw heads, and I can see this one actually needs to be tightened. So really hard to get enough torque onto those to tighten up. So I might actually reach out to RedGum and see what their suggestion is around if this is indeed a problem. There's a bit of play in there, and how best to tighten these. Okay, I'll just show how easy it is to start this unit up. I said it's a Honda GX200. Yeah, there's nothing really hard. There is a on switch here, and the motor's cold here. Crack the choke. Make sure your throttle's on minimum and fuel is on, and a pull. From there it's just a matter of turning off the choke, and I always let the unit warm up a little bit before we use it. It's good to go. Throttle's quite easy. Probably the only thing I think is missing is I would really like a timer, so an engine timer. With the amount of work we've been doing, I guess I tend to like to over service my machines, so having an indication of how much work the unit's done by hours is probably the most appropriate. So if I had a suggestion for them, it would be to include an engine timer, or at least have it as an option. I'd certainly take it up if it were an option.